Ford has built some of the greatest cars in automotive history, but they've also produced some absolute disasters that make you question what was happening in Dearborn. Today I'm counting down the 10 worst cars Ford ever inflicted on unsuspecting customers. Vehicles so fundamentally flawed they damaged Ford's reputation for years. From engineering nightmares to design disasters, these cars represent Ford at their absolute worst. 10. 2008 to 2011 Ford Focus. The second-generation Focus represents one of Ford's most disappointing missed opportunities and a dramatic step backward from its well-regarded predecessor. While the original Focus was praised for its European sophistication and engaging driving dynamics, the redesigned model became a mediocre econobox that abandoned everything that made its predecessor special. Ford dumbed down the suspension tuning, cheapened interior materials throughout, and created a car that felt like a penalty box rather than an engaging transportation solution. What made this Focus particularly problematic was how dramatically it regressed compared to competitors who were improving their offerings. The interior featured hard plastics that felt cheap even by economy car standards, with a dashboard design that appeared created by someone unfamiliar with modern automotive interiors. Build quality became inconsistent with frequent electrical problems, premature wear of interior components, and assembly issues that suggested poor quality control. The driving experience proved equally disappointing for buyers expecting Focus refinement. The sophisticated handling characteristics of the original Focus were replaced by mushy suspension tuning that provided neither comfort nor control during spirited driving. 9. 2007 to 2010 Ford Edge. The first-generation Edge represented Ford's ambitious attempt to enter the rapidly growing crossover SUV market. But the execution featured fundamental flaws that made ownership a frustrating experience. Built on a stretched car platform, the Edge featured modern styling that suggested capability while delivering disappointing performance, reliability issues, and build quality problems that made owners regret their purchase decisions and consider alternative brands for future purchases. The Edge's most significant problem involved its transmission systems, particularly the troublesome 6-speed automatic that proved prone to premature failure and harsh shifting characteristics that made daily driving unpleasant. Ford's PowerShift dual-clutch transmission option was especially problematic, suffering from frequent clutch failures, jerky operation that never improved despite multiple recalls, and complete system failures that often occurred before 50,000 miles of service. Interior quality presented another major disappointment for buyers expecting modern refinement. The dashboard featured cheap plastic materials that cracked easily under normal use, while the Myford Touch infotainment system proved slow, unreliable, and genuinely frustrating to operate during routine functions. 8. 2011 to 2016 Ford Fiesta. The Fiesta's return to the American market should have been a triumph for Ford's global strategy, but instead became one of their most damaging reliability disasters that generated class action lawsuits and destroyed consumer confidence. The subcompact featured attractive European styling borrowed from successful international markets and promised excellent fuel economy for budget-conscious buyers, but the PowerShift dual-clutch automatic transmission suffered from fundamental design flaws that created an ownership nightmare. The PowerShift transmission experienced chronic problems including harsh shifting during normal operation, hesitation when accelerating from stops, and complete system failure that often required expensive replacement before warranty expiration. The dual-clutch system would shudder violently during low-speed maneuvers, creating an unpleasant and potentially dangerous driving experience that Ford's multiple recalls and software updates never successfully resolved. What made the Fiesta's problems particularly damaging was how they affected customers new to the Ford brand. Many buyers purchased Fiestas as their first Ford vehicles, expecting modern reliability and European sophistication. 7. 1974 to 1978 Ford Mustang II. The Mustang II represents Ford's most controversial automotive decision, replacing the iconic Mustang with a car based on the subcompact Pinto platform during the mid-70s fuel crisis. While downsizing responded to legitimate fuel economy concerns and changing market conditions, the execution created a Mustang that betrayed everything the original represented while delivering mediocre performance, questionable reliability, and disappointing build quality that nearly killed the legendary nameplate. Built on the economy-oriented Pinto chassis, the Mustang II became smaller, slower, and less capable than its predecessor in virtually every meaningful performance metric. The base four-cylinder engine produced only 88 horsepower in a car weighing over 2,800 pounds, creating acceleration so poor it became dangerous in traffic. Even the optional V8 generated just 140 horsepower, making the Mustang II one of the slowest performance cars ever produced by any manufacturer. Interior quality proved terrible even by mid-70s standards, featuring cheap plastic materials, poor fit and finish throughout, and uncomfortable seating that made longer trips unpleasant. 6. 1957 to 1960 Ford Edsel. The Edsel represents one of history's most famous automotive failures and Ford's most expensive marketing disaster. Despite massive research investment and comprehensive market analysis, the brand became synonymous with failure due to unfortunate timing, controversial styling decisions, and severe quality control problems that destroyed its marketplace reputation before it could establish a sustainable customer base or recover from initial negative impressions. The Edsel's styling proved controversial from introduction, particularly the distinctive vertical horse collar grille treatment that polarized potential customers. While some appreciated the unique design approach and distinctive appearance, many consumers found it unattractive or even offensive, making the Edsel instantly recognizable, but also a target for widespread ridicule that persisted long after production ended. 5. 1975 to 1980 Ford Granada. The Granada represented Ford's misguided attempt to create a luxury compact car that could compete with sophisticated European imports while maintaining traditional American comfort and convenience features. Instead, Ford created a fundamentally mediocre sedan that delivered neither the refinement and sophistication of genuine imports nor the build quality and reliability customers expected from a premium-positioned domestic vehicle. Built on the basic Maverick platform with minimal engineering improvements, the Granada featured styling that superficially suggested Mercedes-Benz influence but delivered Falcon-level engineering, components, and overall execution. Interior quality proved disappointing for any car positioned as a luxury alternative to imports. Cheap plastic materials throughout, consistently poor fit and finish, and uncomfortable seating made the Granada feel like the economy car it essentially remained despite the premium positioning. 4. 1971 to 1980 Ford Pinto. The Pinto earned its notorious reputation through a combination of questionable engineering decisions and safety problems that became automotive legend, creating lasting damage to Ford's corporate reputation. While the Pinto wasn't uniquely dangerous compared to other economy cars of its era, Ford's documented handling of known safety issues and deliberate cost-cutting decisions created a public relations disaster that damaged the company's credibility for decades. The Pinto's most infamous problem involved rear-impact fuel system fires, caused by the fuel tank's vulnerable position directly behind the rear axle assembly. Internal Ford documents revealed that company executives knew about this potentially fatal design flaw during development, but calculated that paying potential lawsuit settlements would prove cheaper than redesigning the fuel system to meet higher safety standards. Beyond the widely publicized safety concerns, the Pinto was simply a mediocre vehicle in most objective measures of quality and performance. Build quality remained poor throughout production, with frequent rust problems in northern climates, chronic electrical system failures, and mechanical breakdowns that left owners stranded. 3. 1984 to 1986 Ford Tempo. The Tempo represented Ford's well-intentioned attempt to modernize their compact car lineup with contemporary front-wheel drive technology and aerodynamic styling, but the execution proved so fundamentally flawed it became one of the most regrettable automotive products of the entire 1980s. The Tempo featured modern engineering concepts and efficient packaging, but delivered them through poor quality control, inadequate testing, and cost-cutting measures that created an ownership experience guaranteed to drive customers toward foreign competitors. The most significant problem involved the Tempo's troublesome CVT automatic transmission that proved unreliable in real-world conditions despite appearing advanced on paper. The continuously variable transmission suffered from premature failure, harsh operation during normal driving, and expensive repair costs that often exceeded the vehicle's remaining value. Build quality issues extended throughout the entire vehicle, with frequent electrical problems, premature interior wear, and body panel rust that appeared within the first few years of ownership. 2. 1995 to 1997. Ford Contour. The Contour represented Ford's ambitious attempt to bring European sophistication to the American market through their global vehicle strategy, but became a commercial and quality disaster that proved American and European markets had fundamentally different expectations. Based on the successful European Ford Mondeo, the Contour should have offered buyers refined handling, efficient engines, and contemporary styling. But the adaptation process created a vehicle that satisfied neither market effectively. The Contour's most serious problem involved its complex and unreliable automatic transmission that proved unsuitable for American driving conditions and customer expectations. The four-speed automatic suffered from premature failure, harsh shifting characteristics, and expensive repair costs that made ownership economically questionable. The available manual transmission was more reliable but featured gear ratios optimized for European driving that felt awkward on American highways. Electrical system problems plagued Contour ownership throughout the production run, with frequent failures of critical components, including the engine management system, climate control, and various sensors that controlled essential functions. 1. 1958 to 1960 Ford Thunderbird. Taking the top spot is the 1958 to 1960 Ford Thunderbird, representing Ford's most catastrophic transformation of a successful product into a bloated, unreliable luxury car that betrayed everything the original Thunderbird represented. Ford took their successful two-seat sports car and transformed it into a four-seat luxury vehicle that was heavier, slower, less attractive, and significantly less reliable than its celebrated predecessor, creating one of the most disappointing automotive transformations in history. The four-seat Thunderbird became massive compared to the elegant original, gaining over 800 pounds and losing all the agility and character that made the two-seater special. The styling, while initially popular, was overwrought and quickly appeared dated compared to the timeless design of the original. Quality control problems plagued the four-seat Thunderbird from introduction, with frequent electrical failures, mechanical breakdowns, and build quality issues that made ownership expensive and frustrating. And there you have it, the 10 worst cars Ford ever inflicted on the American public. What's the worst Ford you've ever owned or driven? Drop a comment below and share your horror story. Thanks for watching.